Hey there, Jessica Jackstock and baby Josephine. Say hi. Hi, Josephine. We're here to talk to you today about the best first foods for a baby. Obviously, she's not quite old enough for first foods yet, but she'll be there in a few months. So, this is something that we're starting to think about. Have you ever wondered what the best first foods are for your baby? I was reading an article last night about some of the best foods to start with, and it was kind of interesting because some of them were foods that I emphasized with Johnny when he was starting to eat solids, but then others were some that I had never really thought of before as being like foods that you would give to a baby. I'm personally a big fan of baby-led weaning, and if you're not familiar with that concept, basically the idea is that when around 6 months or so, when your baby is old enough to start eating solid foods, someone's getting a little anxious here. You start giving them basically like appropriately sized and soft enough pieces of food that they can eat themselves. And the food would be basically what you're feeding the rest of the family. So they're just going to eat what everyone else is eating. That doesn't mean that I am anti purees or spoon feeding. I know, sorry, she's being kind of noisy. I know that works really well for some people. And so basically you just have to do what works best for you and your family. But regardless of like what feeding method you choose, I don't think you could argue that there aren't certain foods that are better for your baby than others. So I just wanted to kind of talk about these suggestions in this article that I read and see what you guys think. Some of them were kind of interesting to me. So the first one, this is one that I never tried with Johnny, but it's cooked blended red meat. And I'm like, oh, I don't know about blending meat. That seems a little weird. But I guess like you can get baby food, that's blended meat in a jar. So I guess it's not that bizarre. But this recommendation is here because it's high in iron, zinc, and B12. I did offer Johnny meat early on, and he wasn't really a huge fan. So I don't know. I kind of feel like the baby will tell you what they need, and if they don't eat the meat, I'm not going to make a big deal about it if they don't eat the meat. But if you wanted to make sure that they were getting these nutrients, then you could blend up meat and spoon feed it to them. That would be one option. The second option is egg yolk. And this one is full of healthy fat and cholesterol. Cholesterol is foundational to the formation of all of your hormones. And you all know that I'm really a big fan of making sure your hormones are healthy. So I say egg yolk all the way. That's definitely one that I will be emphasizing with Josie when she starts to eat solid foods. Egg yolk also has healthy fat in it, and it has a nutrient called choline, which is really good for the eyes, the eye development, and the brain. So that's a really good first food for babies. Number 3 is another one that I've actually personally never eaten, so I never offered it to my child either, but cooked liver. I don't know, some people like liver. To me, I know it's supposed to be really, really, really good for you, but I just can't bring myself to stomach eating it. So maybe one of these days, if I keep being convinced about how good it is for you, maybe one day I'll dare to try it. But it has tons of nutrients in it, vitamins A, D, B, folate, zinc. One thing to keep in mind if you're going to be using animal products like red meat, egg yolk, cooked liver, really be careful about sourcing, because a lot of times these things are full of, like the animals have growth hormones pumped into them to make them grow bigger, and then that can have a negative effect on your personal hormone balance. So that's just something to be aware of if you're using those foods as first foods for your baby. Number 4 is avocado. We know that avocados are full of healthy fats, also niacin and vitamins B, E, and K. Plus, they're super easy for a baby to eat because they're already so soft. You don't have to cook them any special way to make them easy for the baby to eat. Same thing with banana. That's number 5. Bananas are full of potassium, magnesium, manganese, vitamins B6 and C, and again, they're very soft, so they're very easy for a baby to eat. Butternut and acorn squash are number 6. Winter squash is full of vitamins A and C, and again, magnesium, potassium, and manganese, very similar to a banana's nutrient profile. And this is an excellent one to start babies on. This one's a little trickier because you have to cook it first, whereas with an avocado and banana, you don't, but they're very soft once they're cooked, so very easy to feed to a baby. Number 7 is bone broth, and bone broth is full of gelatin and minerals, which are really, really good for your baby. And it's super easy to make your own bone broth if you save your bones from when you've cooked meat. So that's another really good one to start with. And fermented foods is number 8, such as yogurt and sauerkraut. Sauerkraut may be a little bit of a, shall we say, learning curve for your child. They may not like it at first, but it's the healthy bacteria is going to be just froze. My network connects. Probiotics are really good for your gut health, so you want to do fermented foods like yogurt and sauerkraut. And again, you can make your own. Yogurt is pretty easy to make. So I'd love to know what you all think of this list of recommendations for first foods for baby. I'm definitely going to be implementing some of these with Josie. Can't say I'm going to be trying blended meat or liver, but there's any words. And feel free if you find valuable, I'd love to share with someone else. So feel free to reach out if you want to talk other healthy living tips. That's something I'm really interested in, so feel free to chat if that interests you, and I will chat with you later. All right, bye-bye.